Legal Fund of America, coming to you live from Dallas, Texas, from my home. And I'm very honored and thrilled that your community in Birmingham has decided to graciously host and join us for this joint fundraiser webinar. And I was talking with Brother Ashfaq Tawfiq about how about doing this, and he's facilitated, mashallah, a lot of the logistics, coordinating with Brother Khalid and Brother Adil to make this event happen on this beautiful night of Ramadan, this last night of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us our fasting, our qiyam, our reading of the Quran, and all of the good deeds, and especially the sadaqat and zakat that we have given. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us, inshallah, and make this a means to, number one, protect and ward us off from ward off any calamity from us and our families, and number two, to grant us to secure our place in His Jannah, inshallah. We have a beautiful program lined up for you today. Inshallah, your own Brother Khalid will be speaking about your masjid and your project and your community. And we have Brother Khalil Meek, the co-founder, one of the co-founders and current executive director of the Muslim Legal Fund of America, will be speaking about MLFA. We have Brother Iman Aishat, who will be motivating us to give, inshallah. And our dear, unapologetically proud to be a Muslim sister, Linda Sarsour, will be giving us a motivational talk as well. I will first turn it over to the president of Birmingham Islamic Society, Brother Khalid. Brother Khalid has a, mashallah, extensive list of credentials and bio. Some of he asked me to just truncate it, and I will. But the some of it is that that he has served on numerous masajid and school boards, and has served the community. If I remember correctly from my notes here, the last 3 decades, mashallah. So, Brother Khalid, inshallah, please take it away.
جزاك الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن اهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. My dear brothers and sisters in Birmingham and everyone who is watching this, what a beautiful occasion. Just about 2 hours ago, we completed the Quran recitation here in Birmingham and completed the dua. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us in this month to be able to do that at the masjid with our brothers reciting and us watching at home. We did not let the COVID-19 coronavirus stop us from reciting the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As you all know, in our community and in building communities, usually you look at 3 major things that strengthen your community or our community or any community. You look for education. You want a good education system. And alhamdulillah, with the full-time Islamic school and the weekend school and the many lectures that take place online and at the masajid here in Birmingham, we are blessed to have such an educational system to support the needs of our youth and our community members. And alhamdulillah, yani, this is an ongoing effort and we'll keep doing that. The other thing that we focus on is economic development. And alhamdulillah, with your donations and with our Muslim businesses up here, we're very healthy and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to bless us. And the third piece that is essential to building communities is safety and security. And that's where the partnership comes in here with the Muslim Legal Funds of America. We live here in a country that everything is driven by the legal system, which we respect and we follow and we abide by. But unless we have a strong legal system here within our communities to help us as Muslims to defend the rights of Muslims, we will not have the community, the strengths, the stable community that we are looking for. I'm just going to give you one quick example. In one of the cities that I worked in and was a board member, I was appointed to the Human Relations Commission of this place government. And one instance, we had 6 Muslims who got fired from their job by this one company. I don't want to mention the name of the company, because they took time to go and pray Salat al-Maghrib. And the case came to us at the Human Relations Commission, and the company didn't know. But long story short, we ended up reinstating them because they understood that this was just not abandoning the job. This was an essential part of their faith, that they needed to go and pray Salat al-Maghrib. And so the thing about it is that we all have certain strengths that we can live by. And being in a country where the legal system drives this, none of us can be lawyers. Not all of us can be lawyers, and not all of us can actually perform tasks that deal with the legal system, but there are specific people who can. But for us who don't, our donations come into play to help support this legal system. And the Muslim Legal Fund of America is an organization that is something that we all look for to be strong and to continue to support us, but they need us. And without our support and donations, it's very difficult. This is a joint fundraising. The proceeds that are collected are going to be joint split between Birmingham Islamic Society and the Muslim Legal Fund of America. And as you know, the projects that we have going on in Birmingham up here, you see at the masjid, we have the Islamic school that constantly require fundraisings. We have the weekend school, we have the parking lot that we still need to finish, and we have the daily things, the prison activities that we do, and all the different activities that are done at the masjid that really require a lot of funding. And that's where you come in and you support. And you've always rose up to the occasion and supported every effort that we came to you with. And we don't want to stop here. Your donations tonight are going to go a long way. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us that أحب الناس إلى الله أنفعهم للناس, that the best of people in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are best to the people, who help people who need help. We have Muslims who need help. They need legal support, they need legal advice, and that's where the Muslim Legal Fund of America come into play and help that. Your donations will continue to let this organization survive and continue to grow and continue to support our Muslim brothers and sisters all over the country. And so with that, I would leave you with this. Every time we've had an organization come to Birmingham to collect donations for the causes that they are pursuing, you have not come short. You've always been generous and you supported these organizations. And so tonight we're asking you to continue with this effort, to continue with this, and to support the Muslim Legal Funds of America so that they continue to do our work. May Allah bless you all for coming to the fundraising tonight and for listening and for being part of this. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it in your book of deeds. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept from you your siyam, your ruku' and your sujood. And may Allah bring many Ramadans and many Eids for us. We are in the best health, inshallah. And I will turn it now back to Ayman, and Jazakumullahu khairan. And I will stay on because we need to jump on and help out with anything. We are all in this together, brothers and sisters, one body. And inshallah, we'll come up with a successful fundraising tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan. Back to you, brother Ayman.
Barakallah fiqh, Brother Khalid. It's really good to finally meet you face to face, even if it is virtually. Subhanallah.
Jazakallah khair.
MashaAllah, you have a very good project there. I hear amazing things. All the way in Dallas, we're hearing about Birmingham, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Inshallah, I'd like to turn it over now to the co-founder, one of the co-founders and current executive director of Muslim Legal Fund of America, Brother Khalil Meek. Brother Khalil Meek has accepted Islam some 31 years ago in 1989, and since then he has been active with the community, helping establish masajid and other non-profit organizations, culminating in the work that he's doing with the Muslim Legal Fund of America. So I'll turn it over right now to Brother Khalil Meek, inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alayhi wa sahbihi wa salam. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters in Birmingham. MashaAllah, it's an honor to be here tonight on the last night of Ramadan. I want to thank Sheikh Khalid and Ashraf Tawfiq and all of the board and the entire community at Alabama, because everybody in Huntsville are partners with the Muslim Legal Fund. You have been for years, and we appreciate the relationship we have with the community. And we hope that all of those that are listening, everyone in the community, all of your loved ones are safe, healthy, and secure during this horrible pandemic. And inshallah, that we all get through this together and stronger and better for it. So Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem to everyone. Early Eid Mubarak. And this is your brother in Islam, Khalil Meek. Like Ayman said, I'm the executive director for the Muslim Legal Fund of America. And today I just want to invite all of you into my home and share with you a little bit about MLFA's vision. And I want to share with you why we believe so strongly in our own mission. Today, I want to give you a little personal insight into the importance of standing together to enforce Muslim rights in America. And I want to share with you the legal challenges that we're facing in our community, a little bit on how the system works and what MLFA is doing to protect all of our rights. And as I do this, I want to encourage you to support the work that we're doing. I want you to support the local masjid. I want you to give generously and donate whatever you can for a very noble organization, very unique, and a very critical Muslim charity. For the last 18 years, MLFA has been on the front lines of justice. We've been fighting the very complex national security cases. We do this with courage, and we do it with excellence. And we've been defending the rights of our community, our imams, our leaders, our activists, our organizations, or any Muslim individual that we believe is being treated unfairly by the legal system, and especially those who are targeted unfairly by an overzealous government security program. Now, one of those specific programs that we're going to focus on today is the National Security Watch List. If you're not familiar with this program, it has grown from roughly 3,000 people prior to 9/11, 2001, to over 1.2 million people in 2018. Let that sink in, 1.2 million people. Now, this massive list is currently affecting hundreds of thousands of innocent Muslim lives every day in this country. And the Muslim Legal Fund has learned how being on this list is affecting Muslims all across America, and especially an immigrant community like ours, because a lot of our community are going through the immigration process and they're applying for an adjustment of status, something that they're qualified for. But instead of receiving the benefit, their immigration paperwork is being delayed and being delayed, sometimes indefinitely. We call this the CART program, Controlled Application Review and Resolution Process, where they just ignore you indefinitely. Or if they answer it, then you're getting a denial on your citizenship application, or your green card application, or your visas being denied, or your passports being denied. We're seeing that this list affects Muslims' right to fly. Some are being put on a no-fly list. Others, when they go to the airport, they go through excessive screenings at all the airport security checkpoints. We see how it affects people in their international border crossings. Some Muslims experience excessive searches. Some of them have detentions, often 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours of interrogation every time they cross the border. We're seeing more and more banks close Muslims' accounts. We're seeing truck drivers who are denied access to ports of entries at shipping yards. And these are the TWIC cards for the drivers. We're seeing the government employees that are being denied security clearance just based on family visits overseas. We're seeing that being on this list can be very stigmatizing. It's very demoralizing, and it's dehumanizing. And what we've learned is there's no rules, there's no guidelines, no oversight for being nominated to the list. It's just vague, overbroad, sometimes secret standards or secret evidence. And we've learned that your name can be enough to put you on the list, or your ethnicity, or your country of origin. It could be who you know, or who knows you. It could be where you travel. all of these things can get anybody nominated to the security watch list. Basically, this list is built on the flawed premise of guilt by association. And once you're on the list, the government gives you no meaningful way to challenge your nomination or to remove your name or clear your name. So before I go on, I want to first state that it's not illegal for the government to put 340 million Americans on this security list. So they can put all of us on the list if they think it'll keep us safe. But if being on the list causes an infringement to your civil rights or civil liberties, every one of us are entitled to be given a process, something that we can go through that will alleviate the infringement. It's called due process of law. And this is where the Muslim Legal Fund comes in. We take these cases and we sue the government for relief from the infringement. So once we file a suit, the government has to respond. And at first, we always see the same response. They get very aggressive. They claim it's national security. They claim that they can't tell you anything about anything. They ask the court for summary judgment in hopes that you just go away. But the Muslim Legal Fund never goes away. We know their tactics. We know how the system works, and we just keep fighting and fighting until we get past the security arguments. And a judge will eventually schedule a trial for our client. And at this point, the government, we found, will always quit. And they'll take our client off the security list to avoid going to trial. You see, the government doesn't want to risk losing at trial and being told by a judge or a court they can no longer use their program in any particular fashion, method, or any way they want to. So we will win, our client wins, the community wins, the Muslim wins, but it's one by one by one. Now our focus is to build a broader case made up of these individual cases so that over time we can challenge the entire security program. And this is why we created in 2014 the Constitutional Law Center for Muslims in America. This is a nonprofit law firm in Dallas, Texas, that is dedicated to fighting the injustices resulting from guilt by association. Our law center in Dallas, our senior attorneys have over 150 years of experience in federal litigation. Our senior attorneys have more national security expertise than any law firm in America. In fact, the director of our law center, Mr. Charles Swift, he was named one of the top 100 lawyers in the United States, one of the brightest legal minds in the nation, and the second leading civil attorney in America. We spent over $4 million in 2019 creating a legal team in Dallas, Texas, strategically focused on dismantling this flawed government security watch list program. In the last 2 years, 2018 and 2019, MLFA has experienced more success and legal victories than in our first 16 years combined. Now, this is momentum, and that encouraged us to plan for a $5 million budget in 2020. We were increasing our staffing in immigration, civil, and criminal departments. We're hiring researchers, investigators to accelerate this evidence-based approach to change the narrative from a flawed premise, that guilt by association without checks and balances, to a sound premise to protect civil liberties, families, and communities, from a counterproductive and harmful premise to a balanced, fair, and equitable premise. And then what happens? COVID-19, March 2020, shut the entire country down. It was a shock to everyone. Now suddenly all of MLFA's plans, all of our events, all of our programs, all of our fundraising canceled. In March, all of it canceled. In April, canceled. In May, canceled. So MLFA, we spend roughly 6 months every year just preparing for Ramadan. And alhamdulillah, we get invited to 150 masjids across America where we fundraise during either Jummah or Taraweeh prayers, and we secure 50%, over half of our annual budget during Ramadan. But this year, all of that canceled. So the Muslim Legal Fund, we had to, we're forced to pivot like the masjid was, Like other organizations, we had to go online. We had to figure out what are we going to do. But during this, we knew it wouldn't be the same. So we had to make a lot of hard sacrifices. We cut our budget. We took inventory. The net result was a $2.5 million revised budget for 2020. Now we have less staff, less attorneys, less overhead. Basically, survival mode kicked in. And we cut everything possible without breaking our promises to our beneficiaries, our clients, and our community. We still have 36 active federal cases moving through the court system from New York to DC to Florida, Detroit, Chicago, Texas, Los Angeles, Seattle, literally coast to coast. Our attorneys right now are working from their homes. They're filing motions, they're filing briefs, they're having hearings with the judges via Zoom and Skype. The only thing that closed were the jury trials. Brothers and sisters, we're doing everything within our power to fight through these unprecedented times. And we want to keep our core senior attorneys intact. We want to keep 18 years of thought leadership, expertise, and experience moving forward. We want to keep our promises to the individuals, the families, and the institutions that we've made. But we're going to need some help. We're going to need your support. MLFA is a grassroots funded organization with over 25,000 individuals just like you. And who've supported our mission over the past 18 years. We don't receive overseas funding, no grant funding, no government funding. MLFA grew out of the community, out of the masjids, and the trust that we built together for nearly 2 decades. And today, let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep that unity going. Let's keep the promises. You know, it's Ramadan, it's the 29th, or now it's the 30th night, the month of abundance, of mercy, of blessings and ajr. The rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are infinite. The gates of Jannah are open, the hellfire is closed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O you who believe, stand out firmly for Allah and be just." Be just, that is next to taqwa, next to piety. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said every day in which the sun rises, there's a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who establish justice among the people. Brothers and sisters, we know that justice is the foundation of peace of Islam. And it's the core principle of everything we do as Muslims. So today, let's give sadaqah, let's give zakah, give a portion or give it all to protect our rights, our freedoms, our liberties, to build the masjid, to protect the programs and the institutions that we built. MLFA is tax exempt. We're zakat eligible. And we want to invite you to invest in our future, into your future. Inshallah, together we can and we will make a difference. And I thank you for watching and tuning in tonight. We thank you for inviting us, and we thank you for supporting MLFA's mission. And Jazakallah khair. Again, thank you all. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. I'll turn it back to Brother Ayman Talib. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Brother Khalil, Jazakallah khair for shedding some light on what MLFA has been doing and the challenges we're facing right now with keeping up with the project, keeping up with our promises in light of this calamity we're dealing with right now. So inshallah, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to my unapologetically Muslim sister, proud to be from Brooklyn. She is also the author of a book. If you haven't picked it up, do pick it up, inshallah. And she's a social justice activist, and her name is Sister Linda Sosud, no stranger to you. And inshallah, she'll be giving us a inspirational talk. And hold it up so that people can see the book, inshallah, Sister Linda. You're up. You're on, sister.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ayman, Brother Khalil, Brother Khalid. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you and to all of those who are watching this evening. I'm very blessed again to join the Muslim Legal Fund of America this blessed Ramadan. And I have very fond memories of being amongst the Birmingham Muslim community a small but mighty community, mashallah. I've had the pleasure and honor of meeting many leaders and many young organizers and speaking to university students there. So may Allah bless you all. And thank you so much for doing this joint fundraiser with the Muslim Legal Fund of America. You know, right now we are in the last, literally last 2 days of Ramadan. We are about to, see the blessed Eid, and inshallah, this Eid comes to all of us in good health, in good light, even though the circumstances of the past 2 months have been very dark, not just for us here in the United States, but all over the world. And as I've been reflecting in quarantine for the last 2.5 months, I started to think about all the organizations, all the people doing the work, and what is the most necessary right now for us as a Muslim American community. And I realized more than ever that the work that the Muslim Legal Fund of America is so important. Just in the last few days, the Patriot Act, which is a piece of legislation that was passed after 9/11, that pretty much codified racist, unwarranted surveillance of our communities, was reauthorized. And in that, there's a provision that basically says the FBI can go into your browsing history and use your browsing history against you in a court of law. And a lot of people may not think of that and say, well, so what if the FBI gets into my browsing history? So they can do that again, go into your browsing history without a warrant. Sometimes, as many of us are children of immigrants or people who read different languages, like some of us are fluent Arabic readers or fluent Urdu speakers, we may click on an article that we want to read. And then the article tells us to click on another video or another article. And then eventually you find yourself without any intention on a website that you may not have intended to be on. And that in of itself can cause for you to find yourself in a very complicated situation with the US government. And in many cases, in many instances, that is how our people in our community get in trouble. It's not because they intended to go to a website or to do any harm to anyone, but it's just the way circumstances came. And then that's how they find themselves in cases around material support, in cases around conspiracy, and the list goes on and on and on. I am very grateful to the work of the Muslim Legal Fund of America. And I want to share with you just really quickly a case that the Muslim Legal Fund of America worked on. And this is a case when I knew the Muslim Legal Fund, because all of us had a time when we did not know who the Muslim Legal Fund of America was. And once you know who the Muslim Legal Fund of America, you start to appreciate their work even more. Many of you know a young woman by the name of Noor Salman. Noor Salman was the wife of Omar Mateen, who was the Afghani Muslim guy who shot 48 innocent people in a bar in Orlando, Florida, just a few years ago. Omar Mateen, was also killed. And so he could not be held accountable for the crime that he committed against innocent people. And we know this from living in the United States of America, that there are many mass shootings that happen, and they've happened all the time. Innocent people have died at the hands of white supremacists and others. And it's interesting that when mass shootings happen by particularly white men, we never really hear about who their wife is, who their grandmother is, who's their mother. We really don't know much about their family. The story is usually focused on the perpetrator himself. In the case of Omar Mateen, he was killed by the government. And so what happened was the Federal Bureau of Investigations and local law enforcement in Florida immediately raided the home of Omar Mateen and Noor Salman, which was his wife, and they apprehended and arrested Noor Salman. And a young Muslim sister in our community with a 4-year-old son was taken by the US government, and she was put in 13 months of solitary confinement. 13 months of solitary confinement, sisters and brothers. That means that a young Muslim sister in our community spent 23 hours in a cell with no access to the outside world. And that happened on the watches of the Muslim people. Now, I know this young sister. She is Palestinian, just like I am. She's from the same village that I'm from. And so word got to me, and I started calling attorneys all over the country, in New York, in Detroit, in Chicago, in California, in Texas, all over the country. And not one Muslim lawyer wanted to take that case. They all told me, Sister Linda, this is a dead-end case. No one beats the government on terrorism charges. You are wasting community money. No reason to do this. This young lady has to take a plea bargain with the government. She's going to have to get convicted, and she's going to have to at least spend some time in prison. I didn't believe that. I believed in her innocence, and so did her family, and of course, so did Noor Salman herself. Eventually, we got to the Muslim Legal Fund of America. the Muslim Legal Fund of America boldly got up and said, we will defend Noor Salman in a court of law. And they knew that she was innocent. And not only did they know she was innocent, they were able to uncover very important information, like Omar Mateen's father himself being an FBI informant. The Muslim Legal Fund of America took the case all the way to one of the highest courts in Florida. And all of you can watch this on video, and it's a very remarkable scene to see. To watch Noor Salman come out of solitary confinement, sit in a courtroom, be defended by the high quality attorneys at the Muslim Legal Fund of America and their law center, and watch the jury come back and say that Noor Salman has been found not guilty of every single charge that the government had against her. And what happened that day, sisters and brothers, is that a Muslim sister in our community was able to get up from that courtroom and walk outside into the street as a free woman. That's the story of Noor Salman, and that's the story of the courage and bravery of the Muslim Legal Fund of America to stand up against the government on a terrorism case. Then there was a case that I worked on where I didn't know who the Muslim Legal Fund of America, and I want to show you the contrast of when you or someone that you love is in a situation and understanding the benefit of having the Muslim Legal Fund of America. I worked on a case in New York City many, many years ago after 9/11 of a young Pakistani college student named Fahid Hashmi. Fahid Hashmi was one of the brightest young men you would ever meet. He was the president of the Muslim Student Association, beloved by his professors, beloved in the community, did community service. I mean, he was charismatic. He was a young, handsome, he had his whole life ahead of him. During his winter break, he went to London, where his parents owned an apartment, just like many other Pakistani families. Went to spend some time with some cousins, got a phone call of someone making a request of him, something that any of us would do as Muslims. The request to him was if a friend can stay at his house for 2 nights. He was coming from Pakistan. And of course, Fahid Hashmi said, of course, this Muslim brother is more than welcome to come to my apartment in London and spend 2 nights at my house. So what happened is the person came to stay with Fahid in London, had a duffel bag. The duffel bag had waterproof socks, raincoats in it. Of course, Fahid didn't know what was in the bag because he never looked in the bag, because that would be intruding on someone's privacy. Babar, who's the name of the man who stayed at Fahid's house, actually asked Fahid to use his cell phone, which is something I do often. You know, sometimes you're at the grocery store or in a doctor's office and someone says, can I use your cell phone to call someone? So Babar used Fahid's cell phone. Babar leaves and goes back to Pakistan. Fahid leaves and comes back to New York City. When he gets to JFK airport, he's apprehended by US Customs Enforcement and the FBI. Fahid had no idea why. And what come to find out that Babar, the man who he allowed to stay in his apartment in London, was being tracked by the CIA. And they tracked Babar back to Pakistan, and Babar had that duffel bag. He gave it to a man who then gave it to someone who was affiliated with the Taliban. And that was the only involvement that Fahid had. The only way that Fahid knew Babar was because he allowed him to stay at his apartment in London for 2 days. He didn't know who Babar was. He didn't know who Babar's relationships were. He didn't know he didn't know anything. He was just doing a good deed that any Muslim brother would do for another Muslim brother. Because Fahid did not have high quality legal services, he basically was convinced by a lawyer, a public defender, to take a plea bargain with the US government. And they told him that if you take this to trial, you are going to lose to the US government and you will spend the rest of your life in prison. And Fahid was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he took the plea bargain. And he has now been serving 13 years of his 15-year sentence in a maximum federal security prison. That's the story of Fahid Hashmi. That's the difference between Muslim Legal Fund of America and not having the Muslim Legal Fund of America. Sisters and brothers, we all deserve legal power. We deserve an institution who's going to defend us. We understand that in this country, there are 2 justice systems. There's one for everybody else, and then there's one for the Muslims and other minorities like Black communities, who, by the way, are also and can also be Muslim like us. So we have to understand that we are always going to be guilty until we are proven innocent, when it's supposed to actually be innocent until proven guilty. But unfortunately, that does not apply to Muslims. And because of that, that is why we need the Muslim Legal Fund of America. Sisters and brothers, I'm not very optimistic about this election. And the reason why that's important when I say I'm not optimistic is, of course, I'm going to do everything that I can. And I know many Muslim organizations are going to do everything that they can to organize our community and get our community to the polls and do absentee ballots. But we have a lot of circumstances. We have 2 candidates that have not done right by our communities. We have 2 hard choices to make. We also have the coronavirus, which is something that unfortunately could be a obstacle to people going to the polls. And so because of that, I'm not very optimistic about this election, which means that we could potentially have another 4 years of this administration. And this administration has wreaked horror on our communities. They believe that they are above the law. They have engaged, as you know, and proposed and implemented the Muslim ban. They have increased the number of countries on this ban. What's to say that they won't increase those numbers again? This government continues to find different ways to violate the civil rights and civil liberties of minority communities, specifically Muslim communities. And so what I'm saying to all of you is that we cannot just look in the short term. We have to think about the long term. And the long term, if you want to build masajid in America, if you want to continue to do this work and to be Muslim and to encourage your children and to build Islamic schools and teach Quran and teach the long legacy of Islam in America, you're not going to be able to do that if we are not able to practice our religion freely in these United States of America. And we're going to need the Muslim Legal Fund of America. So please give whatever it is that you can give today. Sisters and brothers, I was just so happy to hear my mom was just at my house. That's why my house is a little loud. I have a lot of people at my house and I live in a very small New York City apartment. So I have nowhere to go. The only place that I can go that would be quiet would be to the restroom, and I did not want to take any of you there. Today, my mom told me that she picked 3 organizations to donate to this Ramadan. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Which organizations did you pick? She literally was like, I picked the Muslim Legal Fund of America. So she just gave to the Muslim Legal Fund of America Launch Good. And my mom is a Palestinian immigrant woman from Brooklyn, New York, who came here from living under a military occupation. And she has watched my work with the Muslim Legal Fund of America. She has heard my experiences and she has heard me talk over and over again in every space that I'm in about when people ask me, Linda, who do you think in our community deserves our support? I always say the Muslim Legal Fund of America. So my mom chose the Muslim Legal Fund of America in these last few days of Ramadan. And I hope that you join my mother and choose the Muslim Legal Fund of America for America as one of your donations this blessed month of Ramadan. Sisters and brothers, it is money well worth it. And what I will say about Nur Salman in particular is that when Nur Salman was freed, and I say this to people all the time, when I heard her mother, who went to school with my mother, that's how we know them, making dua for the Muslim Legal Fund of America, making dua for the lawyers, making dua for every donor that gave to the Muslim Legal Fund so that her daughter can get the representation. And you all know this, and I don't need to tell you this. Dua al-madloom mustajab. And this is a mother that's heart was broken. She lost her daughter for 13 months and she knew that her daughter was innocent. And it is because of the generosity of the Muslim American community that the Muslim Legal Fund of America was able to represent Noor with the best and most high quality legal representation. And I'm giving you this example of Noor, but there are many examples. I mean, the Muslim Legal Fund of America has represented our beloved imams across the country, activists and organizers, leaders of institutions, entire institutions, ordinary people. And I want to remind you that it doesn't matter if you're a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It doesn't matter if you live in the suburbs. This justice system does not care. They only know that you're a Muslim. And so that what you need to understand is that we as Muslims do not have the opportunity to use any other privilege. We know doctors who've been targeted by the government. We've known engineers that have been targeted by the government, scientists, activists, organizers, taxi cab drivers, Islamic school principals. It doesn't matter. So sisters and brothers, don't wait till the injustice comes to your doorstep. Pay it forward. And inshallah, pay it forward to the Muslim Legal Fund of America. May Allah bless you all. May Allah bless you on this beautiful Eid. And I know it's hard circumstances, but inshallah, we will come out on the other side stronger as a community. But in the meantime, let us ensure that we are building our institutions. Do not let this coronavirus distract us from continuing to build the infrastructure of the Muslim community. And one of the most important infrastructures to build, in addition to building brick and mortar masajid, which are important homes for our spirituality, let's remember that we also have to build our legal structure in these United States of America. So thank you to the Muslim Legal Fund of America and all the people that continue to wake up every morning and go to bed every night defending the rights of Muslim Americans.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Linda. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and bless your work and all the work you're doing. Say hi to your mom for me and for the rest of the team at MLFA. She raised an incredible woman that the rest of the that many American Muslim sisters can look up to. MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, with that, I'd like to turn it over to Brother Ayman Aishat. Brother Ayman Aishat is the Director of Development at the Muslim Legal Fund of America. He's a part of the team, alhamdulillah. He's also been involved with so many organizations, masajid, schools, and other nonprofits that are doing amazing work and encourage people to give. So inshallah, please listen and respond to the call, inshallah. Brother Ayman, I turn it over to you.
بارك الله فيك جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Respected brothers and sisters, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت يا رب العالمين سهلا. In the very beginning, I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us in this blessed night. We are still in Ramadan. We are still in the last 10 days and nights of Ramadan. We are in the last third, which is we are very hopeful and optimistic that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look upon our deeds and look at our work and see proudly and say proudly to the angels that I have freed their necks from the hellfire. Allahumma ameen. We ask Allah and inshallah ta'ala to free our necks from the hellfire. Say ameen.
Ameen.
At the same time, mashallah, and the brothers just mentioned a few words that I really don't have to go too much about telling you how important it is, how critical it is to support your own local masjid, and at the same time, the work of justice. They work and they go hand by hand. You cannot separate our foundational places where we grow up from and where we start our work from, where we go for our daily prayers to, and really to push back any injustice or any threat that comes to your community to disturb their peace. Together we can do it. And by the way, subhanAllah, talking about that, Allah mentioned it to strengthen your iman, to live in peace. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. You start from the masjid, just like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you go on and reach out to the whole world. You don't stop. Reach out to the whole world and establish justice. This is the message of the messengers. This is exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared in the Quran. In Surah Al-Hadid, ayah 29, Allah clearly tells us the main purpose of sending the messengers with the clear signs and evidence and descending the books and the balance is to establish justice. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala order us to establish justice. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط. And talking about the other side though, it is very clear set of criteria that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put for those who oppress and the aggressors, and their end punishment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this dunya before that, look at Fir'aun, look at the people of Ibrahim alayhi salam. What did they do to him? Look at the people of Nuh alayhi salam. And that's why even if we are a minority and we are a little, America has a history of from day one targeting, unfortunately, minorities. From day one, when they declared in the Constitution, we are all together, we are all equal, freedom for all, but they kept the African Americans enslaved. From day one, in the American Constitution said everybody has the right to vote, and yet they kept the women until 1920 before allowing them to vote. We know the discrimination that took place here and there and picked on minorities. But the good news is America is also the land of the law and constitution, and you go with it, you fight, you push back, you gain your rights, even to a certain level and degree. And that's exactly what other minorities did. They get together, establish their legal defense team, and push injustice back away from their community. Up to the point, some minorities now, they have made it very clear. If you mess with one of us, you will face all of us. And they should not be better than us. Muslims are a very, very productive, fruitful, successful part of the American fabric. We have among us the most talented people. As Obama mentioned in his exit khutbah, right before he leaves the office, I call it khutbah because technically it was a khutbah. It has a lot of ayat and good, mashallah, principles and values from Islam. He did mention 1 out of 10 American doctors is a Muslim. So we should be proud of these, mashallah ta'ala, performances that Muslims have. But at the same time, if we sit down, relax, laid back, and don't push injustice away, it will continue. And this is seen before, and we cannot allow it. As the sister, mashallah, published her book, we are not here to be bystanders. We are not in America to be a second-class citizen, period. We are not here to bow down. And may Allah reward Brother Khalil Meek and the founders of Muslim Legal Fund of America. They have made something for generations to come to be proud of and think of and really strengthen and build upon, which is establish your legal defense team and move forward. We were doing it case by case, and now, mashallah, through the Law Center, we have more and more winning cases. As you can tell, and as mashallah, Sister Linda mentioned, we need to build on this, and we can do it without your help and support. We cannot do it without your contribution, your sacrifice. You are a major part of contribution to this success, by the way. And that's why we are here for you to come forward and say, Ana laha, I am for it, I will do it. Whatever we collect in the fund tonight, inshallah, from the generous Birmingham Muslim community is to be split with the masjid, because you also, mashallah, could not raise fund this month, and with the Muslim Legal Fund of America. Until we come and visit you later, inshallah ta'ala, we take a khutbah and we come and visit second time and gain bigger support from you, inshallah. Brother Saleh, this is Brother Khalid, this is for you. And now, for now, we need your support. We need generous donors to come forward. Text Brother Khalid or go to the website and donate generously. If you text and let Brother Khalid know, that will be great. One Kareem to come forward with a $10,000, say this is for the masjid and for MLFA together. Even if you make it monthly, that's fine. We all know that the tough time is almost impacted every one of us. If any Kareem comes forward, Brother Khalid, please feel free. If you have any donations of a $10,000 or $5,000 or $2,500, feel free to interrupt me. I will be fine with that, inshallah. If we get any donations, a $10,000 from a Kareem from Birmingham community, that will be great. We can start encouraging others. الدال على الخير كفاعله. The one who start the khair or show the khair or encourage others to do good, he will get the same reward. Take advantage. We are in the month of generosity, the month of Quran, the month of establishing justice, the month of push back injustice away from the Muslims. Amazingly, Badr was there. Amazingly, Fathu Makkah. Amazingly, too many great incidents to remind you that you should not let any circumstances let you sit down and bow down. You stand up, push injustice away. One Kareem, come forward. I know the number is few. Maybe everybody is busy with the Salah, maybe now for the Isha or Taraweeh. This is the last night of Taraweeh. Brother Khalid, you have access to the WhatsApp groups locally. You can text them, let them know that you are here live to gain their support. Did we get any Kareems to come forward, Brother Khalid?
Not yet. Let me just make sure I share my number just in case someone doesn't know or needs it. It's 719-7499. Area code is 205. Again, 205-719-7499. One more time.
Thank you, Brother
205.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Finish. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, that was just going to say one more time. 205-719-7499, inshallah.
Yes, sir. Your number is on the screen, Brother Brother Khalid, everybody inshallah watching
So
on
brothers and
YouTube or
sisters,
Facebook can see. You can also donate now, www.mlfa.org/donate-BIS. So just mlfa.org/donate-BIS, and we will see your donations come in, inshallah. I want to go ahead and announce we already have 3 different donors that before the event actually started, they already, the brother Ashfaq, mashallah, he circulated the link. And so 3 different donors already came together and they pulled together a total of $356, mashallah.
takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
ما شاء
This
الله.
is a virtual takbir and needs a virtual Allahu Akbar from everybody.
Allahu Akbar.
Until we
Well,
meet.
make sure you hear it back
and
all the
come-
way in Dallas.
What is that?
Want to make sure you hear it all the way down in Dallas.
Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah.
Allah.
We need more Kareems to come forward. As Brother Ayman mentioned, www.mlfa.org/donate-BIS, or call Brother Khalid or text him faster, 205-719-7499. Don't be afraid from your spouse. Actually, because in Ramadan you are more protected and more immune, inshallah. Your spouse will not beat you up for donating for a good cause, especially your masjid or for the Muslim Legal Fund of America. Be generous. Allah is more generous. وَمَا تُقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُم مِّنْ خَيْرٍ تَجِدُوهُ عِندَ اللَّهِ. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, you spend fi sabilillah, you will see it. And Allah is telling us, don't hold back. If you hold back, you hurt yourself, not the others. Because the houses of Allah will be established. The houses of Allah will continue to run. The houses of Allah will continue to operate. And subhanAllah, and even the work for justice will continue with us or without us. We should feel blessed. We should feel humbled. We should feel thankful to Allah that Allah selected us to do this work together. Whether you are a donor, you are a listener, you are actively engaged in this work, or you are a volunteer, whatever it is, we should wallahi thank Allah for giving us this opportunity to be a contributing factor to establishing justice and push injustice away from the Muslims. Imagine how heavy is this going to be for us in the day of judgment when we meet Allah individually. What have you done to ease the hardship of your Muslim brother? Prophet Muhammad teaches us, Al-Muslim akhul Muslim. The Muslim is the brother of his Muslim. لا يظلمه ولا يسلمه ولا يخذله. He does not oppress him. He does not disappoint him. He does not leave him alone. When we work together, we win, as Allah promised us in the Quran in many ayat. In the meaning, إن تنصروا الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم. You support the cause of Allah, Allah will support you and give you victory and establish for you in the earth. It's 100% guaranteed. Look at the messengers before us. Look at Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu arda. Look at Abu Bakr, what happened to him right after the death of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of the cities in the Arabia went back on one major pillar of Islam, which really has to do with the same common factor of what I am asking you today. It's about your dollars, about your money, about your wealth, hard, and then you work for it and you work smartly and you establish businesses. Well, at the end of the day, where is this wealth coming from? It's coming from Allah. And Allah has right on it. Allah has right to take back from the wealthy people from it. And Allah mentioned that, and it is clearly one pillar of Islam. How dangerous it is when all these cities and towns and villages and all these group of Muslims who were in hundreds of thousands at the time of the death of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, they went back on this particular item only. They said, okay, we can believe in Allah, we will believe in Muhammad ﷺ, we will do the Hajj, we will do the Siyam, but we will think about the Zakah. We can't do it. Don't force us to do the Zakah. Even the Sahaba went soft, including Umar radiyallahu anhu warda. But Abu Bakr, Allah guided his heart radiyallahu anhu warda. This is extremely dangerous and threatening even to the entire establishment of Islam. If we tolerate this, and Allah guided him, and he gained the victory, and they all came back. Alhamdulillah.
Brother Ayman,
Yes.
I may interrupt for a second. I have a $3,000 donation just came in from 3 brothers.
Takbir.
MashaAllah,
MashaAllah.
takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
3 brothers at $3,000 each or $1,000 each?
Well, it's not that. It's the total 3,000.
Takbir. MashaAllah.
Allahu Akbar.
Virtual takbir. May Allah reward them. Accept from
Ameen.
all the donors, including Ashfaq and the rest, and the 3 brothers who gave total $3,000. In these blessed moments, may Allah protect them. Say Ameen.
Ameen.
May Allah protect them in their health and in their wealth, and give them peace of mind and coolness in their eyes and in their hearts. Save them in their health and multiply for them for their sadaqah. Give them more and more. Say Ameen.
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 Allah,
I have another $100 just came in.
Allahu Akbar. Takbir. May Allah
Allahu
include
Akbar.
all the donors in this dua. And you never know. Each one of us can say Ameen, and the angels will respond to one of us, because his dua is mustajab. Or maybe an oppressed person that MLFA help them. Say Ameen or make a dua, and that it will benefit you. One of these oppressed family members, make dua, may Allah ease the hardship of those who support us, and it will go for you, and Allah will ease your hardship. And actually Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mentioned it in the same hadith. Whoever is a hardship of the Muslim in this dunya, Allah will ease a hardship for him in the day of judgment. So be among those who make the difference, whether in establishing the masjid or supporting the work of justice for Muslims in America. Do we have another Kareem to come forward for $1,000 or even $500? Or even they cannot afford it, one-time big payment, make it $100 a month or $50 a month. Whatever it's easy for you, but the most important, you are a positive contributor. You respond positively to the call of Allah when Allah's calling upon you. Ha antum haula'i tud'auna litunfiqu fi sabilillah. Allah's calling upon you to spend fi sabilillah. You want the same reward as a shaheed. We know the status of the shaheed in Islam. We know the status of the shaheed in the eye of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the Sahaba, and the good, luxurious place for him in Jannah. Imagine the reward of the shaheed. لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون, mentioned in the Quran also with whom? With the mutasaddiqeen. الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. They shall not be afraid, nor they shall be sad. They will be protected and immune from fear, from anxiety, from worriness, from sadness. Guaranteed promise from Allah. وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who is more truthful to fulfill his promise than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you know anybody, Brother Khalid? Anybody more truthful or more honest or more fulfilling to fulfill his promise than Allah?
Of course not.
Nobody. Nobody. And Allah is the one who says, من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرة. Whoever gives a loan, which is a sadaqah, to Allah, Allah will give him many folds back. Guaranteed. So you trust Allah, you give. You believe in Allah, you give. You want to be among the successful, you give. You want to be characterized among the muttaqeen, you give. Among the people of yaqeen and strong iman, because as-sadaqah is burhan. The sadaqah is the evidence of your iman. How courageous you are with your sadaqah, sacrifice, you trust Allah, you give, and you will see it back. Peace of mind, smile, always appreciative. Look positively to the dunya. You thank Allah always for whatever you have, and you always give. And you need a better example. Look, do we have some good news, Brother Khalid?
Yes, I had another $200 just came in. And, you know, we're keeping the names not mentioned for a reason. Because we want the brothers who are donating to make sure it's a purely 100% for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even though it's okay to mention the name, but we're keeping it. But that way they can get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which they will either way. But I don't know if they want me to mention the names or no, but so just wanted to mention that.
Probably if they mention, they will encourage others, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِن تُبْدُوا الصَّدَقَاتِ فَنِعِمَّ هِيَ وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا
Well, let's do that then. Let's do that. We had $2,500 came from our board member, Amin bin Jazi, Jazakallah khairan.
Amin bin Jazi, takbir, mashallah.
Allah
Yes. And we have a $300 from our brother Ahmed Hussein, and his wife also donated $100. And we have Isam Hanedi donated $200, and our human rights leader in the community, our brother Farouk Shandawala, suggested another $200.
Takbir, mashallah, mashallah.
So with all my friends, all the community members that I see at the masjid all the time, and I see you at the masjid when I actually do the fundraising for a community as well. And these people, as I just mentioned, always donate. So you guys, you hear it, you hear the message, you've seen the what the great work that the Muslim Legal Fund of America is doing. They deserve our support more than anything else.
Say hello and salam to Ahmed Hussein. I know him when he was a young man 30 years ago. I know him since then, and I know that he's a generous guy since then.
He's probably hearing you right now.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes.
I know Ahmed Hussein when he was a young man 30 years ago. I am still a young man. Maybe he becoming an older. I am a young man still, mashallah. And I know him since 1989.
Well, guess what? He's still a young man.
Yeah, mashallah. Takbir. Say special salam to Ahmed Hussein and all those who care and concern about the integrity of the Muslims living in America in peace, without the fear and without being worried. And we cannot do it if we are weak and separated, divided. Each one is worried about his own business or income or wealth or his own family, and forget about that we are all whole, one family, one body. المؤمن للمؤمن كالبنيان المرصوص يشد بعضه بعضا. That the believer to his believer is like a firm, strong, solid, standing wall. Support one another. And the other hadith of Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد. إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. That Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is just giving the example of our unity, support, care, and be concerned to each other is like one body. If one part aches, the rest of the body is alert until it recovers. And that's exactly what's happening. And this is what we need to do. Nur Salman is a case. Dr. Usama Abu Rashid is a case. Dr. Sami Al-Aryan is a case. Hamid Hayat is a case. Hamid Hayat, after MLFA got engaged in his case after he was unfairly and unjustly imprisoned, we got involved in a later stage and we got him out of the jail. I just read a post from Brother Khalil today about his case, that he still thinks he lives in prison. He wakes up and he thinks he's dreaming. And he cannot have enough words to thank those who supported MLFA, which in our case funded the Law Center, who took his case and got him out of jail. You need to think of the dua of these oppressed people when they are alone with Allah, making dua and shedding some tears and crying in front of Allah. Oh Allah, reward those who invested in gaining my freedom back and eased my hardship and got me out of the jail. Think about these people when they make a heavy dua for you, and it goes all into your scale of hasanat. With that said, I hope Brother Amin encourage his other buddies in the board to give generously more. And Ahmed Hussein, talk to your people and friends in a different WhatsApp group and tell them we need to keep up this great work and support MLFA and of course your Masjid BIS, and make the target for tonight $20,000. I know it is a humble target, but you can make it.
Now I have 3 of our kids who are in the Islamic Academy of Alabama, students,
MashaAllah,
who are in the Islamic Academy. Collectively, they collected together $235 and just sent them.
Takbir,
All the kids of the Islamic Academy of Alabama.
Takbir, MashaAllah.
Yes.
May Allah reward you.
Akbar. And then I have another $200 that came in from the greatest real estate agent in the country, our brother Mujahid here. Even though real estate market is down, brother Mujahid is donating.
Wallahi, you gave وأنت صحيح شحيح تخشى الفقر وتأمل الغنى. This is the heaviest and most rewarding type of donation. May Allah reward you.
And your brother Ahmed Hussein, whom you just praised, and maybe you should continue to praise, he committed to raise another $1,000 in the next month or so to bring him to the organization.
Man, I was aiming for a 20,000, not just one. Ahmed Hussein, wake up, man. We are still in Ramadan.
So keep on Ahmed Hussein. Maybe he'll now come up with another challenge.
I know he can. I know he can, and he's capable, and he will do it, inshallah. I know his nature is a coming forward. He is, mashallah, a very decent man, and he knows and appreciate the work of justice. And I know he will not, feel comfortable until he commit that whatever remaining, he will work with Khalid Saqallah, inshallah, to make it happen, inshallah.
Yes, exactly. Brother Ahmed Hussein, I'm waiting for the text message to come in, and I'll help you with it too.
And his number, just in case, Ahmed Hussein, if you don't have him, 205, right? 719-7499. No excuses whatsoever. No excuses. You can text him, reach out to him, or really do something. Wallahi, I just want to tell you, 2 days ago, we had another event with another blessed Muslim community who understand the importance of MLFA, and that's why they always invite us to their communities. We could not have enough people on the call because some of them were praying Isha, and maybe I can reveal some secrets. Some of them went outside for the coffee and some other things with the coffee, but without mentioning that here. However, they committed to a 20,000, and by the end of the call, they gave the commitment. One brother came forward, just like Ahmed Hussein, said, whatever you raise, we will work on the rest and we will make it happen. And we'll make it happen. Wallahi, it is tough. You talk about $2 million Muslim Legal Fund of America raised in the month of Ramadan. Corona came and messed up everything. Alhamdulillah, it's a test from Allah. But guess what? Allah knows that the good-hearted people are around. Even the angels were wondering. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let them know that I am sending a Khalifa and a representative to the earth, the human beings, they said, أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاء وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. Allah responded to them when they said, oh Allah, will you send people who will spread mischievement and corruption into the earth? Apparently, what they imagined only the type of the people of the Fir'aun and dictators and the corrupted people who make executive orders, and he want to kill Musa and alayhi salam and all of that, the dumb people only. But Allah told them that, Inni a'lamu wa la ta'lamun. I know what you don't know, and Allah knows that will be kind and passionate and merciful people who will strike the balance, like yourself and your community, inshallah.
Brother Amin Ibn Jazia gave another 2,500.
Takbir!
So we're now doubles now. We're into doubles now.
Of course, mashallah. Amin bin Jazi, wallahi, I had the feeling that the leader of the community will come forward. Subhanallah. I had the feeling that this brother Amin will come forward, not just because his name is too close to my name and we became friends now, but this is the nature of leadership. Leadership, they lead by example. May Allah reward him. Special dua for brother Amin. Probably Ahmed Hussein will be very jealous. May Allah protect him, reward him, accept from him, give him immunity, free from being worried in this dunya and in the hereafter, free from being afraid in this dunya and in the hereafter, and multiply for him, save him from all illnesses, and save him from all bad, evil things and end. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen.
May Allah protect him and his family members and save them and make them qurratu aynin lahu. And all the donors and those who say Ameen, and some people even who wish us good and they cannot donate, and they wish to donate. If they have the money, they will get the same reward, inshallah ta'ala.
Ameen.
And now, mashallah, brother Amin made it much easier for you, brother Khalid, and for brother Ahmed Hussein to get closer to the commitment of 20,000. How much total do we have, Ayman? Are you counting? The second Ayman.
I think by my tally we have about let's see, I think it was about 9. We had the 1-3, right? And then we had couple thousand. Well, I'm dealing with some things on the back end. I'm sorry.
Oh, brother Khalid maybe has a better count.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah. Brother Khalid,
I'm just going back to the text messaging here to look at now. Now remember, brother Amin is the money man up here. He's our treasurer.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah.
So he's the treasurer of the organization of Birmingham Islamic Society. So he knows
Mashallah.
numbers and he knows money.
Oh, so he can issue another zakat fund check to MLFA and to the
He could.
masjid. Oh,
He could.
takbir, mashallah. Which is exactly what we want. We need people, wallahi, who care. By the way, since I am working on this on a regular basis, I have seen communities who come forward by themselves and send us checks, who know how noble, critical, and needed this work of MLFA. They cut checks on a regular basis and they send it to MLFA. Especially here in Dallas, we have several masajid who do that on a regular basis. They send monthly checks from their zakat fund to MLFA because they know this work matters a lot. This is very heavy. And this is the work that is needed way more than other things. Actually, if we don't do that, as Brother Khalil mentioned, then the rest of the masajid face the threat of being closed. Charity organizations shut down, and many other work, and Muslims will be intimidated and threatened. And that's why we need to stand up, work together, and do not accept to live as a second-class citizen.
Yep.
Do we have more Kareems, Brother Khalid?
Brother
Coming
Khalid,
forward.
can you have a can we get a total so far where we at?
Yeah, I'm counting. Here, give me a second.
Okay, sure. I can tell you from the website, we, mashallah, I know everybody's giving as much as they can. From the website, we got 2 more donations. One from an anonymous person for $10, and another person for $50, mashallah. So they're giving right now, no pledges, just straightforward. They go to the website, www.mlfa.org/donatebis, and they are giving right now, and taking advantage of these blessed nights of Ramadan, the last night of Ramadan. They want to make sure that their donation comes through in Ramadan, inshallah.
This is the exact time we need to rush your sadaqat and zakat. Don't forget zakatul fitr. You need to give your zakat itself. Remember how important and critical it is. You will get 70 times more reward than the normal multiplication of the sadaqah in Ramadan. You will be remembering Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that he was like a speedy wind in terms of generosity in Ramadan. You need to take advantage of all of that. Text Brother Khalid at 205-719-7499. And inshallah, tell him the amount of your donation. Even after we end this session, you need to continue, inshallah ta'ala, reach out to the brother. And hopefully, inshallah, between Brother Amin, Brother Khalid, and Brother Ahmed Hussein, and many others, I know that you have too many generous people will come forward and make it happen. This night, you will come to the target, fulfill the target, $20,000, and it will be split between BIS and MLFA, inshallah ta'ala. And this is the way how we can continue and flourish, inshallah ta'ala, and rise up to the challenge when we fulfill our commitment, when we really practice our belief. This is how it goes, hand by hand. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. How often do you see it in the Quran? Almost every time you open a big surah, you will see it mentioned so many times. Hand by hand, belief and action together. Allah guarantees, إِنَّا لَا نُضِيعُ أَجْرَ مَنْ أَحْسَنَ عَمَلًا. Allah will never waste a good deed that you will do. Take advantage, come forward, give generously. I want to conclude with asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open your heart and warm your heart so you can see that this sadaqah weigh very heavy in your scale of hasanat, like mountains of hasanat wait for you, and you will see Allah in the day of judgment. Oh Allah, where did I get these mountains of hasanat? Allah will remind you. You remember your $1,000 hard-earned money in the time of COVID-19, which everybody is worried and scared and concerned about his income. You raised up to the challenge and you sacrificed $1,000 and you gave it fi sabilillah. Do you think Allah will look into that easily or very heavily and highly regarded and rewarded? Allah will not waste your good deed. That's why we need you to come forward, spread the word. That's very important. Share this video and make dua for us. Allah, may Allah accept from each and every one of us. It's a teamwork at the end of the day. Each one of us can have a very positive impact when we work together. Contribute to the success when we are united, hand by hand, support one another. Brother Khalid played a role. Here you go, Brother Amin played a role. Brother Ahmed played a role. Brother Ashfaq, although he's not in your board, he played a role. Sister Linda Sarsour came here and motivated us and showed you how critical, how important it is. Brother Khalil, 25 hours a day work, by the way. He works 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. How? I don't know, but it is how it looks and appears. He works 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. May Allah reward him and accept from him. Brother Ayman works with the other team members. At 3 a.m., they are still awake and working for the work of Muslim Legal Fund of America. May Allah reward everybody.
Ameen.
And protect us all and save us all. And most importantly, make this effort sincere only for his sake, accept it from us, and protect us all and all the donors and those who say Ameen. Say Ameen.
Ameen.
Allahumma Ameen. Is there any more donations, Brother Khalid?
Not yet. So far, we have 7,235 donations that came in.
And I hope it's a small task, but it's important. If you do it, you will get some result. If you don't do it, we don't get anything. Reach out to some donors around you. Tell them this blessed night, we had this conducted event jointly with MLFA, and we need to hit a target, which is a very fair target. It's not a hard one, $20,000, and it will be split between the two organizations. I hope some people will come forward and say, Ana laha, I will do it, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Barakallah fikum. Brother Khalil, you want to have a closing remarks?
I want to chime in before we have closing remarks. Also, before leading up to this event, subhanallah, Birmingham Islamic Society was one of the first masajid to respond to the request of doing this joint webinar. Being a longtime supporter and true believers of the mission and the vision of the Muslim League of Fund of America. Particularly, I want to recognize, and he didn't ask me, I'm probably putting him on the spot, and subhanAllah, if you don't thank the people, then you don't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the hadith says. Brother Ashfaq Tawfiq, and he really helped facilitate making this blessed event happen for the community really to come forth and show their appreciation to support the Muslim League of Fund of America tonight, and have Sister Linda Sarsour and bring the community together and help facilitate also doing broadcast to both the YouTube channel as well as the Facebook page of the Birmingham Islamic Society with Brother Adil's help, mashallah. Like all of these different elements that they're under the real, mashallah, the real leadership, current and past, that these kind of events can happen. And our community can come together and pitch in our resources together to accomplish something great.
By the way, since we are on this blessed gathering, one of the beloved brothers and co-workers who work with us is the younger brother of Brother Ishfaq, Brother Anwar, and the last few days he was not feeling well. Please, in this blessed day, in this blessed night, in Ramadan, please, keep him in your dua. May Allah ease this hardship on him, give him a speedy recovery, gain his strength back again, and come back to be very active and leader and community, mashallah, contributor, mashallah, and continue the legacy of work he and his family are doing across the nation and all over, actually.
Ameen.
Mashallah, it's a great, blessed family. May Allah accept from all of them, especially Brother Anwar. May Allah give him a speedy recovery. Say Ameen.
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 Jazakumullah khair. Brother Khalil, you want to give a closing remarks?
You're on mute, Akhi. There you go. Go ahead. I just unmuted you. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say, may Allah bless all of you, protect you, give you the best in this life and the hereafter. Thank you again to Birmingham leadership, the masjid, Sheikh Khalid. We appreciate the support, the partnership that we built over the years. And it's a real honor to work with you guys. And we just think it's a blessing to have this ability to have a partnership like this. And we want to wish you all a happy Eid, a blessed Ramadan, and all of you be safe through the pandemic. And I hope that we all get to see each other soon. So hopefully we'll close with a dua, and everybody have a wonderful evening. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan.
Inshallah. يلا بسم الله.
سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. بارك الله فيكم.
جزاكم الله خير.
السلام عليكم. جزاك
السلام
الله خير.
عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
يا من الله.